Emcee Granny the rapper, you know. Emcee Granny told the story of discovering my husband's affair, his sudden departure without warning, and the grief that followed.
I'm Emcee Granny and I'm feeling low. I don't really want to be here.
I've never written rap before. I love rap. I listen to it all the time in my iPod, and I appreciate what young people are saying in their message. I've been to several rap concerts. I'm always the only over 55 who's, you know, grooving to the music. All these young people are standing around me with their hands in their pockets just grunting, and I'm jiving my heart out. I really, really love it. So much so that my son's friends started calling me Emcee Granny because they thought I was a bit cool.
Yo, I will keep the home together, kids depend on me, bro.
So all these things kind of merged together, and having always been involved in the arts, I was looking at ways to recreate, and video was something that appealed to me. Being in the company of some people who were production specialists at Green Key Studio, they got to know a little bit about me, and the next thing we knew, I'd written a rap song, and it's still quite funny. I'm a cartoonist or a caricaturist, so preparing the script and the storyboard was something that came to me quite naturally. Then with a bit of brainstorming from Green Key, we developed it into the story that you see. When I had to explain to the cast members that we selected to do the roles of my husband and the homewrecker, they were very interested.
Breaking up relationships, marriages and more. My darling husband left our family for a blatant homewrecker.
Well, in my situation, my husband started dabbling in internet dating sites for seniors. And this alone was a shock, because while he was doing that, quite unbeknown to me, he was what I thought the perfect husband and father. I was the love of his life, he told me the day before I learned that he was actually with another woman. And we were retired, and suddenly our retirement plan went with my husband and his new partner. And that was my story, and it's the story of a lot of other women around the world. They call it wife abandonment syndrome, and it's something that affects the lives of many, many thousands of women. Men as well, but not as many. The travesty of this is that not only is a husband there one day and gone the next, but there's no closure for the wife, because there's no opportunity to ask why. The husband, he's gone. He doesn't want to talk about it. If you read any of the stories about any of the women who have experienced this sudden abandonment, all the scenarios are the same. No warning, there was no major fight, there was no major conflict, there were no dramas happening, and it's come as such a shock.
But you've got to start to live again. You need to get out there and recreate yourself.
When this first happened to me, I saw some counsellors, and they all said, you need to take new hobbies on, you need to create yourself again, keep busy, make new friends. It's very easy to say that, and I did do some things. I did some courses of study and took up one or two hobbies, but that didn't help my pain. All I did was carry that pain inwardly, and it was only the passage of time that it took me to be able to start functioning again. In Australia, there's very little support for this sort of phenomenon. And I know when I first became abandoned, if you like, in our family, I searched everywhere for support. Clinicians and, you know, medical or counsellors don't really cut it for a lot of women. What women want is to talk to other women who have experienced this. And I joined some forums anonymously, and met some lovely ladies online and have established relationships with them. And then I started my own blog. It was cathartic for me, because every day was so hard, every day was so lonely, and I found it helpful to write. And from that blog, I discovered so many other women out there experiencing the same thing. And I now have a couple of hundred people writing to me with some regularity, and we support each other, we muddle on together. I received an email just a week or so ago from a woman who is 73, and her husband, aged 76, just left her for another woman. There's certainly a lot of ladies out there who suddenly find themselves alone in this situation. For me, that was a couple of years since that awful day when my husband suddenly was gone. For other women, it might be less time. I have a friend who has become fairly well re-established after only a year. And yet I know other women who have been in this position for several years and they're still not over it. You're kind of confronted by this situation. I either move on and be in the doldrums, or I move on and make an effort to do something fun. Like it's, you know, what do? You just do your best.
Yo!
In doing Emcee Granny, I hope it's taken in the spirit in which it's meant, because while it is meant to be a humorous look at the situation, there's nothing humorous about the experience. I'm only able to do it now because it's been 2 years and I've just finally been able to wake up in the morning without being an emotional mess. Making the video, I hope, will encourage some of these other women to see that, well, there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, that there does come a point where you can start to get out there in the world and start being strong. I think a lot of us are quite resilient because we still look after our families and other loved ones that we might have responsibility for, but you've got to start feeling it on the inside to really function properly, and I'm only at that place just now. And making that fun video was a huge step in my own healing process. Emcee Granny is now on Facebook and YouTube, and I've had some great responses. We also advertised an email address if people wanted to get in touch on a serious level if this had happened to them, and I have had some responses.
Next!
By popular demand, Emcee Granny is going to make a lot of comebacks. Emcee Granny is now at the point where she has to recreate, and so the next video will be about her getting out in the world. Again, it will be humorous, it will be light, it'll be fun, and then who knows, we may have Emcee Granny on other journeys as she moves along. Emcee Granny 2 is coming soon, so if you want to talk again, I'm all yours.